So you have been hearing about SharkBite fittings for years now. Maybe you have used a couple yourself, maybe your neighbor swears by them, or maybe you have seen horror stories online about them failing and flooding somebody's basement. And you are wondering, can I actually trust these things in my home, or am I setting myself up for a disaster down the road? Well, I have been testing and using SharkBite fittings for over 5 years now, and today I am going to give you the brutal, honest truth about them. The good, the bad, and the stuff nobody talks about. And if you stick around to the end, I have got a bonus tip on exactly how to know when you should use a SharkBite versus when you absolutely should not. And that one piece of advice alone could save you thousands in water damage. Let us get into it. Here is the thing about SharkBite fittings. They are one of those products that completely divided the plumbing world when they came out. Old school plumbers hate them. DIYers love them. And the truth, like most things in life, is somewhere in the middle. Once you understand how they actually work, what their real limitations are, and where they belong in your home, you can make a smart decision. So let us start with the basics. If you have never used one before, a SharkBite fitting is what we call a push-to-fit connector. SharkBite is the most popular brand, but there are others out there like GatorBite and Tektite that work on the same principle. The idea is simple. You take a pipe, you push it into the fitting, and you get a watertight connection. No soldering, no glue, no flux, no torch, no fumes, nothing. You just push it on, and you are done. Now that sounds almost too good to be true, and I get the skepticism. When I first saw these things, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I thought there was no way this could hold up to real water pressure, day in and day out. But here is what makes them genuinely impressive. They work on copper, CPVC, CPVC, and PEX. PEX rhymes with flex. All 3 pipe types with the same fitting. So if you are working on an older home where you have got copper transitioning to PEX, or you are dealing with CPVC that somebody installed back in the 90s, one SharkBite fitting handles all of it. That versatility is a big deal, especially for remodel work or emergency repairs. Now let us talk about what is actually happening inside one of these fittings, because once you see the mechanics, a lot of your questions get answered. If you were to cut a SharkBite fitting in half, and I have done this, you would see 3 main components doing all the work. First, there is an EPDM rubber O-ring. That is the gasket that creates your watertight seal. It sits inside the fitting, and when the pipe slides through, the outside wall of that pipe presses firmly against this rubber gasket. That compression is what keeps water from getting past. Second, you have got a ring of stainless steel teeth. This is where the name SharkBite comes from. These teeth are angled inward, kind of like tiny fish hooks. When you push the pipe in, it slides past those teeth no problem. But if you try to pull it back out, those teeth grab on and dig into the pipe. The harder you pull, the harder they bite. It is a really clever design. Third, and this one matters, if you are working with PEX, there is a stiffener sleeve inside the fitting. PEX is flexible tubing, so without that internal sleeve, the pipe wall would not have enough rigidity to press firmly against the O-ring. That sleeve slides inside the PEX and gives it the backbone it needs to make a solid seal. If you are using PEX and that stiffener is missing, or you forgot to check for it, your connection is compromised from day one. So always verify it is in there before you push anything together. All right, let us get into proper installation, because this is where most failures actually start. Not from a defective fitting, but from the person putting it on. Step 1. And I cannot stress this enough, you need a clean, square cut on your pipe. If you are cutting copper, use a proper tube cutter, not a hacksaw. A hacksaw leaves burrs and a rough edge that can slice right into that rubber O-ring I just told you about. And once that O-ring is damaged, you have got a leak waiting to happen. For PEX, use PEX cutting shears. They give you a perfectly clean, square cut every single time. For CPVC, a ratcheting pipe cutter works great. Once you have your clean cut, you need to deburr the pipe. Take a deburring tool or even some fine sandpaper and smooth out the inside and outside edges of that cut. Any little ridge or sharp spot is a threat to that gasket. Next, you need to mark your insertion depth. SharkBite actually makes a little gauge tool for this. It is a few bucks at any hardware store. You slide it over the pipe, and it marks exactly how deep the pipe needs to go into the fitting. For 3/4 inch pipe, you are looking at about 1 inch of insertion depth. For 1/2 inch, it is roughly 1 inch as well, but slightly less. Check the packaging because it varies by size. That mark is critical because if you do not push the pipe in far enough, the O-ring is not fully seated around the pipe, and you are going to get a drip. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but eventually. When you push the pipe in, push it firm and steady until you feel it stop. Then look at your mark. If the mark disappeared into the fitting, you are fully seated. If you can still see it, push harder or check for an obstruction. By the way, if you are finding this helpful, you should know this is just a taste of what I have put into my book. 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes that will save you $10,000. It covers everything from leaky faucets to running toilets, step by step with diagrams. You can grab your copy by scanning the QR code on screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let us keep going. Now here is where I'm going to be straight with you about my concerns. And I want to be clear that some of this is opinion based on my experience, not manufactured data. The EPDM rubber gasket inside these fittings is what gives me pause for long-term use. Rubber, by nature, degrades over time. That is just a fact. And here in the United States, our municipal water supply is treated with chlorine. That is how we disinfect it. Now, chlorine is tough on rubber. It slowly breaks down rubber compounds over years and years of constant contact. Think about it. That little O-ring inside your SharkBite fitting is sitting there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with chlorinated water pressing against it under pressure. 5 years? I am confident it holds. 10 years? Probably still fine. But 25 or 30 years? That is where I start to wonder. SharkBite fittings have only been widely available for about 15 to 20 years now. So we simply do not have multi-decade performance, ye data the way we do with soldered copper joints or properly glued CPVC. Soldered copper has been proven reliable for 50+ years. We know what to expect. With SharkBites, we are still in the early chapters of that story. That does not mean they are bad. It means you should think carefully about where you put them. Let me walk you through the most common installation mistakes I have seen cause problems, because avoiding these will dramatically improve your odds of a trouble-free connection. Number 1 is not pushing the pipe in far enough. I already covered this, but it is the single biggest cause of SharkBite leaks. If that pipe is not fully seated, the O-ring cannot do its job. Use the depth gauge. Check your mark. Do not guess. Number 2 is reusing fittings too many times. SharkBites are technically reusable. You can buy a little horseshoe-shaped removal tool, slide it over the pipe, press it against the fitting, and the teeth release. Pop it right off. But here is the catch. There is a silicone lubricant inside the fitting that helps the pipe slide past the O-ring smoothly and also helps protect that gasket. Every time you remove and reinstall a fitting, you lose some of that lubricant. I would say 2, maybe 3 reuses maximum before you should toss it and grab a fresh one. Number 3 is failing to deburr your pipe. I already mentioned this in the installation step, but it deserves repeating because I have personally pulled apart failed SharkBite connections and found a little copper burr had sliced a groove right into the O-ring. A 30-second deburring step would have prevented the whole failure. Number 4 is using them in direct sunlight or underground without protection. SharkBite fittings are not UV stable. Prolonged sun exposure breaks down the plastic components, and they are not rated for direct ground contact either. If you need to use one in a crawl space near soil, make sure it is protected and accessible. So the big question: where should you use these and where should you avoid them? Let me give you my honest recommendations based on 5 years of hands-on testing. Use SharkBites in accessible locations: basements, crawl spaces, utility rooms, under sinks, behind access panels. Anywhere you can visually inspect the fitting down the road and get to it quickly if something ever does go wrong. They are absolutely perfect for water heater connections. Think about it. A water heater lasts about 10 to 15 years. You are going to replace it eventually anyway. And when you do, you will be right there at those fittings. Pop the old ones off, put new ones on, done. That is an ideal use case. They are also fantastic for emergency repairs. Pipe burst at 2 in the morning and your crawl space is flooding? Cut out the damaged section, push on a SharkBite coupling, and you just stopped the emergency without having to call a plumber at after-hours rates. I keep a handful of 1/2-inch and 3/4-inch SharkBite couplings and caps in my truck at all times for exactly this reason. For remodeling contractors, these are incredible for the demo phase. You are ripping out a kitchen. You need to cap off the water lines for a few weeks until the plumber comes back. Turn off the water, cut the pipes, push on a SharkBite cap, turn the water back on. 5 minutes and you saved yourself a service call. Now, where I would not use them, I would not bury them inside a finished wall. Period. If that fitting develops a slow drip in 7 or 10 years, you are not going to know about it until you have mold, water damage, and a very expensive repair on your hands. Inside walls, I want soldered copper or properly crimped PEX connections. Those are proven methods with decades of reliability data. I also would not use them on hot water recirculation lines where the water temperature is consistently elevated. Higher temperatures accelerate rubber degradation, and that O-ring is already working hard enough at normal hot water temps. Let us go over some issues you might run into and how to deal with them. First up, you notice a slow drip right after installation. 9 times out of 10, the pipe is not fully inserted. Turn off the water, release the fitting with your removal tool, check your depth mark, and reinsert it, making sure it goes all the way to the stop. Second, the fitting seems loose, or you can wiggle it on the pipe. This usually means there is debris, or a burr on the pipe preventing full insertion. Pull it off, clean the pipe thoroughly, deburr it again, and reinsert. Third, you get a leak that develops weeks or months after installation. This one is trickier. It could be O-ring damage from a burr you missed, or it could be that the fitting was reused one too many times. Either way, shut off the water, remove the fitting, inspect the O-ring for any cuts or flat spots, and replace the fitting with a brand new one. Fourth, the pipe will not push into the fitting at all. Make sure you are using the right size fitting for your pipe. A 3/4-inch fitting will not accept a 1/2-inch pipe, obviously, but I have also seen people try to push copper into a fitting that had a PEX stiffener already seated inside it. If you are using copper, that stiffener needs to come out. Fifth, you see discoloration or brittleness on the fitting body. If the fitting has been exposed to sunlight, it may be UV damaged. Do not trust it. Replace it with a new one and install it in a protected location. All right, here is that bonus tip I promised you at the beginning. And this is the one piece of advice that I think separates a smart SharkBite user from someone who ends up with a flooded basement. Always install a SharkBite fitting with an exit strategy. What do I mean by that? Every single time you use a SharkBite, make sure that fitting is in a location where you can see it, reach it, and replace it without tearing apart your house. I also recommend checking your SharkBite connections once a year. Just a quick visual inspection. Run your finger around the fitting and the pipe. Feel for any moisture. Look for any green or white mineral deposits on copper that would indicate a very slow seep. This takes about 30 seconds per fitting, and it could save you from a catastrophic failure. The other thing I do on every SharkBite connection is I mark the date of installation with a permanent marker right on the fitting body. That way, 10 years from now, when I am down in the crawl space or behind the water heater, I know exactly how old that connection is and whether it is time to swap it out as a preventive measure. Proactive maintenance beats reactive disaster every single time, and a $2 SharkBite cap replaced on your schedule is a whole lot cheaper than an insurance claim and a mold remediation crew. That wraps it up. If this was useful, you will love the full book. 50 step-by-step plumbing fixes with diagrams, all in one guide. Link is below. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I will see you next time.